Okay, everyone, it's officially 8:30 p.m. My name's Ron. I'm an alcoholic. How you doing? Welcome home. Quick announcement. Shout out to our YouTube channel programmer, Jason, with like 300,000 views. It's important to also realize this group does a lot of service work, and we've purchased, like in the last, I'm going to say year and a half to 2 years, like 600 big books given away free at treatment centers thanks to your donation support and contributions over the years. You support a lot of things, including the workshops that we do and a lot of the food and services. So be mindful of that at not only this meeting, but all meetings that you go to. I actually Googled $1 in the basket in 1970 is equal to $7.25 in 2023. So be mindful of that as you go out in AA. In fact, share that, because a lot of times people think, hey, just $1 covers it. The overhead anymore is enormous at all AA meetings. Enough of that, nobody cares. Okay. Welcome. If you got a resentment already, you're in the right place. Now, we got a treat for you tonight. We got the world's best chairperson. We brought him in from New Orleans, is it? Please welcome Kara. Come up here. For a warm welcome.
Hello, everybody. Welcome home. My name's Kara, and I am an alcoholic. Hello. This is a 1-hour speaker meeting that meets every Saturday evening at St. Paul's Lutheran Church, 301 North Main Street, Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Food and fellowship starts at 8 p.m. and speaker at 8:30 p.m. The business meeting for this group meets every Saturday at 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. right here. Please come early and join us. The purpose of this group is to provide a consistent message of hope and recovery through God reliance and service to others through the practice and teachings of the 12 steps. We record all speakers so that others may benefit from their message of recovery. If you wish not to be recorded, simply ask. This is an open meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. The group would like to welcome everyone, especially newcomers. Is there anyone new or from out of town that would like to introduce themselves with their first name?
I'm new to this meeting. My name is Kara. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Kara, welcome. The Conscious Contact Speaker Group encourages sponsorship. Would anyone with working knowledge of the 12 steps and willing to sponsor, please raise your hands. Are there any announcements for the good of AA? Nick?
My name is Nick. I'm an alcoholic. The Indian Valley Group of AA is celebrating their 43rd year next Friday night, January 26th, from 6:30 to 9:30. Free fun and fellowship. You all are welcome. Donations are also greatly appreciated. There'll be a speaker, sobriety countdown, and fellowship, and we usually go bowling after that meeting as well. So have a flyer if anyone's interested. Come see me. Thanks.
Thank you, Nick. Our sister group is a big book study meeting that meets every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. just up the street at Salem UCC Church, 186 East Court Street, Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Coffee is on at 6:15 p.m. We encourage y'all to come. We have meeting lists and big books on easy terms. Please see me or any home group member after the meeting. If you cannot afford a big book, the Conscious Contact Speaker Group will give you one at no charge. Anyone willing to make donations for the purpose of big books and CDs to help those who cannot afford them can put donations in the jar on the table marked Big Book and CDs. All CDs are available free of charge. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Doylestown, Pennsylvania, our Facebook group. Subscribe and share. You can find our speakers there. Join our Facebook page to keep informed and share upcoming events and meetings. Now I would like to invite Dave to come up, and he's going to read Just for Today, a prayer of recovery. Let's give Dave a warm welcome.
My name is Dave. I'm an alcoholic. Just for today, prayer of recovery. Just for today, I will be agreeable. I will look as well as I can, dress becomingly, talk low, act courteously, criticize not one bit, not find fault with anything, and not try to improve or regulate anybody except myself. And now I will ask JJ to come up for the preamble.
My name's JJ, I'm an alcoholic. 1 second here. Sweet. This is the AA preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organizations, or institutions. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics achieve sobriety. Our friend Nick is going to come up and read the 12 steps of recovery.
My name's Nick. I'm an alcoholic. The AA 12 Steps of Recovery. 1, we admitted we are powerless over alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. And 12, having had a spiritual awakening as of all these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Now I'll turn the meeting back over to Kara.
Our 7th tradition states, every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. At this time, I would like to pass the basket. We have no dues or fees, but we do have expenses. This group provides many services. Your donations cover food, rent, big book CDs, events, workshops, etc. There is absolutely no smoking on church property. Please take a moment to silence all cell phones and limit movement during the meetings to avoid distractions. Now, I'd like to introduce the speaker as a good friend of the Conscious Contact Speaker Group. She came all the way from Wilkes-Barre, 2.5 hours, y'all. Let's give Karen a warm welcome. Woo-hoo!
We good? Oh, how's that? Can you hear me? Yes. I hate this thing. Hi, everybody. I'm Karen, and I am an alcoholic. So first, thank you, Ron, for inviting me down here. And he's the fellow that you're going to have to see after the meeting, when, or if you don't like me. Anyway, just throwing that out there. I don't know what he was thinking. My home group is in Wilkes-Barre. I live in Chickashinny. So that's a little bit further out than Wilkes-Barre, and I just have a little house by a little lake in the middle of nowhere in the woods, and it's lovely, and it's the kind of person I am. I don't want to be around you people. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, no, I'll be here for an hour. So, you have a lot of do not enter signs on these roads. Do you know that down here? It scared the life out of me. I'm coming off the turnpike and I get to this stoplight, right? It's pitch black. There's a do not enter sign, and I'm going this way, and I'm going, well, where do you enter? You won't believe what God did, though. and I thanked him for it. He put a car ahead of me. So I said, thank you, God, because if somebody's going to die, it's going to be him. That probably wasn't real spiritual. Okay, but I tried. Anyway, I guess just a little bit about me. I have 11 and some change months sober through AA. It's been an amazing, amazing journey. And if you're new in here and you think that's a bunch of like garbage that I'm trying to spew at you, it's not. I got to tell you that 11 plus years that I have is absolutely the best years of my entire life. And as you could see, I'm old. So, I want to start back when I was a little bit younger. Don't worry, I only have an hour. So, we could go back to maybe like kindergarten. Okay, we'll start there. I'll make it fast, don't worry. But what I want you to pay attention to, I'm going to describe to you a person who is unmanageable, okay? Because I didn't know this as I was going through life. I can only now stop, look back, and go, oh. You see, the Big Book tells us that a real problem is a selfishness and self-centeredness, okay? So, you see, I became unmanageable before I became powerless over alcohol because at 4 years old, I wasn't drinking yet. Maybe you were. But I was a very fearful, inconsiderate, self-absorbed, selfish child, adolescent, young adult, old adult. Practice makes perfect, folks. So when I walk through the doors of Alcoholics Anonymous, you might want to call me selfish and self-centered to the core, but I don't think so. So when I'm going to kindergarten, I think this is a terrible idea. I was very comfortable at home. You see, I have a lot of fears. Okay, and the fears don't have to make sense. They make sense to me. I'm just afraid. And I don't want to go away from my home. That's where I'm comfortable. I think it's an awful idea to put you on that cold school bus and, transport you to, God only knows where. It was only a mile, but I thought I was going to Texas. And you know what? I became the sick kid when I got to kindergarten. I found the nurse, and I found out if you tell her you're sick, you get to go home. Every day I'm sick. I went to the doctor. I can't tell you how many times for nothing. I just wanted to get home. So, my brother, I have one brother. He's 8 years older than me, and he's not one of us. And he picked up on this fear of mine, and he thought it was funny. And so he would tell me as I'm going out to school, he'd whisper to me, Mom and Dad and I are moving while you're in kindergarten. Oh, my Lord. Do you know how fast I had to get to the nurse that day? They were not getting away on me. Are you kidding? So, my mom and dad, I had a great growing up life. I had great mom and dad. There was not alcoholism, as in the form of alcohol or drugs in my family. There are other things. But, so, I'm unique here in my family. So, in other words, my family's pretty normal except when I'm around. Then it's dysfunctional. So, they would take me to church. I was raised Methodist, and I didn't like it. I'm not home. Now, I want you to listen to how many times I say I and me, okay? My parents are trying to raise me in some sort of spiritual fashion where I think millions of people, have successful lives. But I'm in Sunday school, and it's a waste of time. Because, you see, I could be home doing better things with my life. I could tell you I I don't even remember that there were other people in my Sunday school class. Like, little Johnny's over there coloring Jesus and having a gay old time of it, and I'm not even, like, looking at him like he's stupid. Just get me out of here. But me, as the alcohol, you're shoving this down my throat. Oh my gosh. Then, fast forward, my mom says to me, I think you should join the choir. Are you kidding me? What, you want everyone in the world to think I'm weird? That's me. This is Karen. It's all about me. I'm not looking at anybody else. I'm not looking at God. It's about me. I want to do what I want to do. Can't you guys get on board with this already? Like, you're the ones who birthed me. Well, you get around to high school, and, kind of before high school is when I kind of picked up the booze. Back then, like, it was a thing for your parents to have these, the big book talks about whoopee parties. So they would have whoopee parties in our basement. We had a full bar, and, it looked very interesting to me. And my dad, he was a construction worker, so when he would come home from work, he'd have me go down to the kegerator and draw him a beer. And I would do that, and one day I just got, the notion that I should probably taste it. And so I guzzled a glass, and it was rather a nice experience. Well, do you know I would stand there and wait for my father to drink that beer, and then I would say, Dad, do you want another one? Oh, isn't that sweet? Down I'd go and guzzle another. Now, I'm going to tell you, I was maybe 12 or 13 at the time, right? None of my friends, I don't think, are doing that. I don't know. Honestly, I didn't even realize I had friends. It's all about me, okay? Just come and do things with me. So, if I did think anything about them, I probably thought, well, they're stupid and they just haven't caught on yet. So, I end up being a very shy individual at school, which kind of turned around on me because really what it was I was very uncomfortable around people, and I was kind of scared of people, to be honest with you. Booze took care of that. As a matter of fact, I remember in high school going to the parties, and it's when the parents were away for the weekend, and so you'd get a keg and you'd go into this room, and everybody's real awkward, and quiet, because we're teenagers, so we're just all sitting there quiet and awkward. About 30 minutes in, a spiritual awakening begins to happen. And here it is. Oh my gosh, this place is beautiful. Wow, your parents must be like really rich or something. Oh wait, I always thought you were like really stuck up at school and stuff, like a jerk. You're really nice. We really should hang out more. That guy who dumped me today, I cried all day about him. Screw him. I gotta tell you something. I don't know what he's doing tonight, but he's probably having a bad time because I'm not there. You see, I'm having a spiritual awakening with my booze, and it's wonderful. So that becomes the thing. The parties, and I'm a party girl, and I don't know I'm an alcoholic, so I met my husband when I was 14, and then I think we started dating when I was 16. I asked him out for a date. And he's a little older than me. He could do things for me that I couldn't do for myself because he was 21. And it worked out very well. It's a match made in heaven. So actually, I'm still married to the man. God bless him, okay? We're married now 43 years. I tortured him. He's a normie. I have no idea. The only explanation I can give you is that he's Roman Catholic, and I think that he's more afraid of hell or something, because I don't think they like divorce or something like that. I don't know. I don't have an explanation for it, but I got to tell you, I am not a prize to be married to her. Woo! Anyway, so let me give you just a little snapshot of what this looks like. So I start to date my husband, and, I don't know about you, but I perceive things are going on in the world, and they may or may not be. All right, so we're going to go meet my future in-laws, right? So we come to Allentown, and it's Thanksgiving, and I walk in, and nobody said hi to me, nothing. They're all sitting there, got a big family. Well, we leave Thanksgiving that day, and I say to my husband, my boyfriend at the time, what's up with your family? He goes, what are you talking about? What do you mean? When I walked in, nobody even said anything to me. They didn't even greet me. What's up with that? Do you know what he said to me? I don't think they saw you walk in. Oh my God. You gotta be kidding me, right? Everybody sees us when we walk in, right? I mean, come on. Am I in the right room or what? Okay, so he's lying. Boo-hoo. I said, all right, so what's the real deal then? You know, did they like your other girlfriend? Your previous girlfriend better than me? And he's looking at me, he says, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh my gosh. You're going to continue this lie? You see, I know what he's thinking, okay? He needs to spit it out. So I say to him, what, when we get in an argument or something, do you go and talk about me? It's like, I really have no clue what you're... Well, if you're going to put your family first, then that's it. We're through, because I'm not that girl, okay? I'm number one, not the family. You got that right? Because we're not going anywhere here with this. Thank God for the amends process, okay, which comes in step 9. So you see, the problem with me is when I perceive that something's happening, and it's real, this is real to me, I take action. So that day I took action. I was 17 years old. We're never going to have Thanksgiving with your family again. I won't be treated like that. I'm sober now 11 plus years. I found out through the 12 steps, my in-laws are just quiet people. I thought for all those years they hated me, and you know what? You hate me, I'm going to hate you more. Anybody here like that one? I see it happen all the time. You know, you go into detox or whatever and to speak, and you got somebody perceiving somebody else is doing something to them, you know. So they're over here gathering their posse because you got to get a posse. Oh, you know that girl over there, she's talking about you. I see it all the time. I used to do that too. I get it. That's why it's so beautiful that we could help one another, you know. And God gave us one to another, so don't make any mistake about that. My husband also realized real early on that I knew what he was thinking, or thought I knew what he was thinking. We would argue. Anybody in here a great arguer? I used to think I had an anger management issue, okay? Yeah. It's the person I was, okay? This is pretty unmanageable, folks. I don't know if when you're in this, or if you've ever been in this, how you feel inside. It's awful. It really is awful. So we'd be driving home, and I'd be arguing about something, and he'd be arguing back, and then I'd get quiet. And, you know, at first he said, I thought the argument was over. Ha, really? But then he said about 5 minutes in, now he's telling this at an AA meeting, by the way. So 5 minutes in, she starts up the argument again, and he said, I quickly realized that she thinks she knows what I'm thinking. So, you know what he would do? He'd be driving. I'd get quiet after the argument, and he'd look over at me and he'd say, I'm not thinking anything right now. You want to talk about, oh, he pissed me off, right? Anyway, keep going a little bit. I'm still not thinking. I say to him, what do you think, I'm a moron? I know you're not thinking. I'll tell you when you're thinking. I really meant these things. Woohoo. My youngest daughter, you know what she says to me? Mom, I don't know how you lived this long thinking the way that you think. You could tell she's not one of us. Anyway, well, I don't know what's wrong with men, especially the normie ones, because he went on to marry me. God bless him. So we got married, and off we roared to Florida. And, you know, it was paradise. It was going to be paradise down there, okay? And we're drinking, you know, and we're party people, and we're having a great time with it. It's a really good time. Just like it is in the beginning for all of us, I think. Really good time. So we get down to Florida, and here comes my unmanageability again. Now, we were just talking about this before. I don't know where he moved to. And there you are. And I get down to Florida, and you won't believe, we had to live down there for 23 years. My husband would not bring me back to Pennsylvania, Wilkes-Barre, to be exact. He made me live First 10 years in Hollywood, Florida, and then 13 years in Palm Beach. He had no clue how much I missed my family. Man doesn't even care about me. All he's worried about is money. Woo-hoo. As I came into AA, like hating the man that I married for things that he never even did. So I abused this guy, like bad. Because I would yell things at him, and I would do nice things like, I'm going to just spend up the credit card since all you care about is money. That's the person who I am. Thank God for booze, man. Guys, I'm going to tell you, though, when I was 27 years old, my husband and I, we decided to start a family. And the big book tells us that, there may have been a point where all of us could have stopped without the aid of spirituality. But few of us saw good enough reason to do so. And then they go on, and it's on page 32, there talks about a guy who, he couldn't get ahead in business, and so he knew he couldn't drink another drop of alcohol, but he had that reservation when he retired. And then he retired, he pulled out his carpet slippers and a bottle of something, and he was dead within 4 years. And I read that, and I said, oh my Lord, that's me. At 27, guys, I had not crossed the invisible line, but I drink so alcoholically. I'm the one who's most insanely drunk. I usually don't know it because I'm insanely drunk. So I really don't know what you're doing. I'm a blackout drinker. I drink excessive. And I never wanted my children to see their mother drunk. And so what I did was I put the plug in the jug. I'd never been to AA. I don't know these words, reservation, alcoholic, I surrender. I don't know any of this, okay? All I know is I'm living my life. And I put the plug in the jug, and you see what a horrible person I am anyway? Well, take away alcohol. It kind of compounds how much of a jerk I can turn into. You see, I'm spiritually sick human being. And I think you are. I told you that, I was raised in a Methodist church, I mean, when we were married, we still went to church. I had God. No, I didn't. I thought I did. Couldn't have told me otherwise because I was so arrogant. So we have a child, and I just have to tell you this because, at that time I was a school teacher, and so high school, math. Well, my husband, we're both retired now, but he was an electrical engineer. And so there wasn't a lot of romance in our house, okay? It was a lot of calculating, things like that. So we had a plan that we were going to have this baby on the last day of school because then, after you get the summer off, right? So then after the summer, I put the baby in daycare, and then I go back to work. This was the plan. What I don't realize is you took away my booze. Well, you didn't. I put the plug in the jug. I have the child. I got a gaping void within me that can only be filled with God to be successful. But what I do is I try to fill it with other things. So it was the alcohol. What do you think it's going to be next? I have this child. She cooperated, by the way. If you want the formula, we have it. Okay. Anybody else? Anyway, she didn't come until 2 weeks after the last day of school. Perfect. But then something happened. You see, I became hover mother. I was the only one who could really adequately take care of the child. And now I'm going to search for evidence, okay, that no one else can take care of the child. So you see, I've already got the goal in mind. No one can take care of the child. Well, except for my mother, because look how good I turned out, okay? So she's great. I love my mother. Anyway, my husband comes home, I don't know, it's sometime in August, and They used to make you stay in the house for a whole month, I don't know what that was all about, but you used to get good cabin fever before you could go out with the baby. But we went out, and we were in Florida, and so we pack up the whole car, and Daddy is so proud, and he's walking through Publix with the little baby, pushing the little baby in the car. It's first time out. I go over to the meat counter to pick up some Hillshire kielbasa, my husband's Polish, and I turn around, and just as I turn around, guys, there's a red fingernail going at my baby's face. I don't know what was on the other end of it, but I just saw that. And I went racing right over there with my kielbasa. And I got to tell you what, I shocked myself, okay? I whapped that woman right across the hand. And they both looked at me. And I had something very good to say. I said, do you want to have this for dinner? But I'm going to tell you, don't worry, guys. Because when we wheeled away from that lady, I gave it to him. Oh, can you believe this? We live in the same town. We live diagonal to where Adam Walsh was abducted. That we go to that mall, the Sears Mall, okay? All they ever found was his head, And you're going to let somebody touch the baby. Oh, my God. Maybe the feet, okay? You weren't even paying close enough attention. Okay, that's it. Now, proof, man cannot be trusted with baby. Comes home, getting close to school starting up, and he says to me, so have you looked at any daycares? And I said, yes. And we didn't have a child to put him in daycare. I don't think that's a good idea at all. I said I went in, and it's like a mini concentration camp for infants because they're like all in swings and they're swinging and the binkies are out of the mouth and some are crying and it's bad. It's just bad. I quit my job. He said, you did what? I resigned. I'm not going back. He goes, well, what are we going to do? And I said, oh, well, I just told you what I'm doing. I said, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'd never tell you what to do. I mean, I'm just not that person. But if you're looking for a suggestion, second job maybe? I don't know. You should be happy that I want to be home with the child. The perfect mother here, are you kidding? No one else should raise that child. So anyway, I don't know what's wrong with him. Like I say, he went on to have a second child with me. So we have 2 daughters. I'm a stay-at-home mom. And so my girls, they turn 3, and one was 3, the other one was 1. And we came up to Pennsylvania because this is where I'm from. In February, we stayed the month of February at my mom's house and my dad's house so that the kids could see snow. And like I say, my mom was always my best friend. They were great. At the end of the month, February, we saw snow. It was a great month. We went everywhere. My mom got to watch the baby. And she's wonderful. And anyway, it was a Sunday morning. I was packing up to go home, and my mom said, my back is killing me. And I said, well, yeah, you've been carrying the baby around, for a whole month. And she said, yeah, but I don't. I feel sick to my stomach, Joe. I think I'm going to go back in and lay down. I said, oh, so you don't want to go to church? That's slacker. Yeah, and she's like, no, I don't. I said, okay, fine. I don't go either. Anyway, my dad went in to check on her. It was about 35 minutes later. And he called me into the room. And when I got to the doorway, guys, what I saw in there was my mother was dead. And she was completely blue. And I wasn't really expecting that. And so I went in, and my very first job, I used to be a nurse. I only lasted at that for a year because I hated it. You see, you have to serve others. Anyway, I checked for a pulse. I checked for breathing. There was neither. My dad and I got her down onto the floor and called 911, and my 3-year-old and 1-year-old stood on the bed, and they watched me do CPR on my mom, and I could remember this, guys, like it's yesterday. And I'm doing the CPR, and I'm doing the compressions, and it used to be like 1,000, 2 1,000, and I'm saying 1,000. God, I'm not ready for this 1,000. 2 1,000. Please don't take her from me. 1,000. Guys, that's how deep my selfishness is, and I don't even recognize it. My mom's dead, and who am I praying for? Myself. How am I affected by this? I make me sick. Anyway, the paramedics came and everything. They put the paddles on her. My mom had a heartbeat, and, she wasn't breathing. So the girls and I, anyway, we stayed on, and we followed the ambulance and everything down to the hospital. And my mom was on a ventilator. She was unconscious, and the doctors kept coming out and asking us, what happened. And I explained to them just what I explained to you. And they said, do you know how impossible it is for someone to come back, after finding them, after a massive heart attack? And I said, I don't think that's coming back. You see, what they told me was that because of the lack of oxygen for so long, that the brain wasn't going to come back. And basically, she was a vegetable, on a ventilator. The only thing working was her heart. 3 days in, though, she did begin to assist the ventilator. And so they took that off. But all she had now was a heartbeat, and she was breathing on her own. And then a week later, the doctor called me down, and you see the blood stopped going to my mom's feet, and they would turn gray and mottled. And he said, the vessels can't support the circulation. So what we're going to have to do is, we can't do surgery right now, because with the massive heart attack, she'll die under anesthesia. So we're going to wait and let gangrene set into both legs. And when the infection runs through the body, we'll know, because her fever will spike. That's awful. I said, okay. Things aren't going so well, They're calling me every other night. She has a seizure disorder. So now she's got high blood. Oh, my Lord in heaven, everything was going bad. And then about a month in, after, and we're going every day, and, they're rolling her over, and each day it's getting worse. Now she's coming into consciousness in pain because they have to clean her up because she's incontinent, and her legs are killing her. I mean, anytime they touch them, and they're turning black. And a month in, my dad didn't know who he was going to see anymore. He thought it was his mother. And I'd say, no, Dad, it's my mom. Your mom's been dead for a long time. And he would come in at night, would be, sleeping in bed with, the girl slept in the same room as me, because I obviously didn't have, accommodations for this. And anyway, my dad would come in about 2 o'clock in the morning. You know how you sense somebody's there, but they don't do anything? And I'd wake up, and I'd say, Dad, what's wrong? And he'd say, there's Indians out in the backyard. And I would say, no, Dad, there's no Indians. You're dreaming. Go back to sleep. So I ended up taking him to a doctor, and it turns out he had Alzheimer's. And they were married 5 bazillion years, and so the disruption in the routine, his Alzheimer's came into full swing. And it's 3 months in now, and the infection went through the body. And her fever spiked, and I went down, and I had to sign to have her legs amputated, and they did it with a local anesthetic, which was the minimum anesthesia, and an amnesiac. So basically, like on the battlefield, the way I look at it. My mom came out of that surgery with no legs, and 2 weeks later, both stumps were split open and infected. And so the doctor called me 2 weeks later, and it's 3.5 months, and said to me, well, this is all we could do for your mom. So what we're going to do is put a feeding tube into her stomach, and we're going to send her over to the nursing home. And I said to the doctor, that's okay. I don't want a feeding tube. I said, I'll feed her. She could swallow. I've given her drinks. Don't tell you. And I said, I really don't want her to go to the nursing home either. I'd like to bring her home. And he said these words to me that, I don't know, rang so true all my life. He said to me, are you crazy? I said, well, some people have said that. Because you see, people used to indicate to me that there's something wrong with me by saying, what's wrong with you? I'd say nothing. What's wrong with you? Because I think I'm fine, and you're the problem. Anyway, he called my brother to report on me, and my brother said, yes, we all know she's crazy, but you're not going to be able to do anything with her, so you might as well let her do what she says. And you know what? He let me bring my mom home, and the ambulance came, and we had a hospital bed all set up out in this spare room that they had, and they got her all comfortable in the bed, and the ambulance left, and I'm standing in the doorway, and my 3-year-old ran past my legs and jumped up on the bed with my mother. Guys, my mom was in the hospital for 3.5 months and didn't speak, and she wasn't supposed to have any brain stuff going on. And my mom said, Katie, and that's my 3-year-old's name. And she said, what happened to me? And my 3-year-old said, Mimi, you were dead. And my mom said, what happened to my legs? Was I in a car accident? Guys, full sentences, completely oriented to where she was. No memory of the pain or suffering that I saw with my own 2 eyes that she went through. I looked up right then. You're the man. You see, I don't know how any human can do such miracles as this. And my faith and my trust in God at that moment was rock solid. I wasn't afraid of anything. And I'm going to tell you, I went out in the room and I told my mom what was happening or what happened to her. And she had no memory of any of it. And then it began. So we had occupational therapists, speech therapists, physical therapist, oh my gosh, everybody, nurses, all coming in the house. It was like Grand Central Station. I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old running around doing 3-year-old and 1-year-old things. My dad's in the yard chasing Indians, and I got a mom who's trying to learn to walk on her prosthetic legs. So can you imagine what this looks like? Okay, there's chaos. And I'm doing AA, and I don't even know I'm doing it. You see all that chaos outside going on, and I'm at perfect peace and ease. Guys, don't make more of AA than what it is. AA is 3 things. It's an altruistic, never used that word before in my life, before I came to AA. I don't know if any of you don't know what it is. I'll tell you what it is. Okay, it means unselfish. We do things for others without any expectation of anything in return. We just do it. That's, I think, where they get that next right thing, is it? I don't know. Anyway, unselfish. No thank you. No recognition. None of that, okay? Spiritual. Do you know what that is? My faith in God was solid, man. He could do anything. Action. You bet I was dog-tired. But here I am, feeling privileged to be taking care of the people who took care of me all my life so well. And that's how I feel standing up here right now. Privileged. My mom ended up living another 18 and a half years, by the way. And my dad lived another 5 years with the Alzheimer's. We took care of them. They moved to Florida with us and stuff. But yeah. Don't worry, though, because it wasn't AA. I had a spiritual experience, but there was one thing that I didn't quite understand. And that's how to hang on to it. And I also didn't quite understand that I'm the problem. And so I picked up booze again at age 48. I drank a whole bottle of champagne on Christmas Eve. It had been 20-some years since I drank last. Everyone thought it was hysterical. My girls had never seen me drink or anything. If you want to know if the progression's a joke, it's not a joke. The progression of my illness took me to be a daily drinker, blackout, to oblivion for the next 3 years and some months. I had no idea what was wrong with me. All I knew is I couldn't stop. And I've got all the answers. So my girls would come in and they'd say, "Mom, are you drinking again?" And I would say, "Yeah, I'm making up for lost time." "Mom, I don't think you should be drinking so much." "Oh, really? Is that coming from you? You're 18 now, right? I'm picking you're drunk, up at parties. You're not even of legal age. Who are you talking to?" For those 3 years and some months, I did not get Mother of the Year award. As a matter of fact, those children who, I thought I adored and lived for, I treated them awful. I always treated my husband awful, but I didn't know it. I thought he treated me awful. So I tried to kill myself. Came the end of that time, and I just couldn't stop, and it was dark. Like my spirit, it was gone. It was dark. Depression, I can't speak of. Anxiety, panic attacks. Hate everybody, hate myself. I think I'm crazy because I'm doing something against my own will. How do you do that? So one night I decided because I don't know about you guys, I get superpowers when I drink. Like I could tell you're an idiot just by looking at you. Really. And you should die. I'm doing the world a service. I'm not happy when I drink. I don't remember because I'm in a blackout, but I'm told I have no reason to discount what they say. I don't remember. So anyway, this one particular night, now I do this quite frequently, but this one particular night I decided I was going to get the gun and I was going to go kill somebody. I knew who I was going to go kill, and then I was going to turn the gun on myself. Well, my husband was working out of state at the time. Maybe that's why we're still married. But anyway, and my girls are adults now, and my one daughter, my youngest daughter's in nursing school, and it's just hell for her because here I am running around drinking like an idiot. Now they're wrestling a gun out of my hand, and they're taking me and throwing me in my husband's pickup truck, taking me across the Cross Valley to Crisis, and I'm kicking the car into neutral, calling them all sorts of names mothers should not call their children, and saying, "You have no respect for me, it's my house, you get out, I don't need to get out," blah, 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 blah. I didn't know it until a few years ago. See, I wasn't behaving in the truck, so I thought I passed out, but my youngest daughter told me just a few years ago that what she did was she choked me out with the seatbelt. She's a very smart girl, because I wasn't behaving. Yeah. Anyway, they got me into Crisis, and when I woke up on that gurney, man, and I looked around because I'm trying to get my bearings. I don't know where I am, and then I see the letter on the wall. It's like a big H or something, and then I look down, and they've got this big piece of yellow paper on top of my gurney, and I pick it up, and I read the bottom of it, and they have a nice big writing. I didn't even need my glasses. It said homicidal and suicidal. Something happened to me on that gurney, and it wasn't me. Guys, I didn't know it at the time. Like I say, I'm telling you this story from years after, but I can look back and I know what it was now. I had been in that state many times before, but that moment when I woke up on the gurney, something inside of me went, "You're sick. This is you. You got a problem." And at that moment, I didn't care what they did with me. I didn't care if they put me in a psychiatric hospital for the rest of my life, because I knew at that moment I wasn't safe for you or for me or for anyone. I'm nuts. Well, they didn't. I know today that God stopped me, and it wasn't me. I know he put the brakes on somehow, that enough was enough. And my spirit was broken that night in a very divine way. And that second thing that happened when I acknowledged what an absolute idiot of a person I am happened, I know that was a godly revelation. In one moment, all of what I was got heaped upon me, and it felt awful. And it was so necessary, because I would not have changed. I went into rehab. I didn't know anything about AA, guys. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm ashamed, I'm humiliated, I'm remorseful, fully surrendered. I didn't even know I was supposed to be, but I was. And anyway, people coming in now, the rehab, and they're talking, and and I'm listening because I'm crying the entire time. I think they only kept me there 17 days. They said that my insurance ran out, and so I guess the insurance thought I was well, but I wasn't well. I knew I wasn't well, but anyway, they made me leave. But while I'm in there, I'm trying to learn everything I can, and I am so messed up. I don't know what's up, but I just know I don't want to drink ever again, and so I'm listening. And I remember, there was one gentleman that came in, and he was big, and he had 100 years sober, and he said, AA has a less than 6% success rate. Oh my Lord. I thought, what have I gotten myself into? The people in rehab scared the life out of me. They're telling me this was like their 13th rehab. This is like their 17th. I'm like, oh my God, I got to do this. What is happening right here? And then they started saying things that I couldn't understand. So it was like, look to your left, look to your right. They're going to go out and die. And I do. I look to my left and I look to my right and I say, you're going to die because it's not going to be me, okay? I'm not dying. Done. I'll do whatever I got to do here, and then take the cotton out and put it somewhere else, and then do something else. Oh, I don't know. What's that other one? Oh, yeah, put the plug in the jug. That's where I got that from. Put the plug in the jug. Okay, it's like they're talking to you in riddles, you know? So I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, my God, you're just telling me that I've got a fatal illness that's progressive, and now you want to talk to me in riddles? What's wrong with you people? You must... I think they were all demons. Anyway, want me dead. Anyway, I ended up, I got a sponsor. I didn't know you weren't supposed to have a man if you're a woman. Whatever. Anyway, I got yelled at for that. But I kept him, okay? I used him entirely for his big book. And anyway, when I got out, I did. What, you think I'm the sex kitten of AA? Please. Married for 43 years. I need a drink. Compose yourself. Anyway, I didn't even go home from rehab. I just met my sponsor right at the Curry Donut Shop. Am I allowed to say that? Probably not. Okay, I had a donut shop that has an unknown name. And he went through the first 3 steps with me at that donut shop, and I still have no clue. You see, I thought rehab was AA, because they put those up on the wall in my rehab, so I just thought it was AA, all right? So that's what I'm listening hard. So this guy, he sits down with me, and he has this book, and I'm like, there's a book? There's a book. I'm a teacher. I could do books. Sorry, I hope I didn't do anything to you. Anyway, yeah, so he started me out, like, right at the beginning of the book. Go figure. Who starts at the beginning, right? But we started the forward to the first edition where it says, we of Alcoholics Anonymous are more than 100 men and women who have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. Well, you might think, because of our selfish nature, that we means us. Read on. To show other alcoholics precisely how we have recovered is the main purpose of this book. Wait a minute. I'm the other alcoholic. The we is the guys who wrote the book. We hope for them that these pages will prove so convincing, no further authentication will be necessary. You know what that did? I'm in the book. This is what I need. First 164 pages, this is what I need, this is what I need, this is what I need, and I start through it. And we did steps 1, 2, and 3 there, and he said, here's how and we're reading, we read the doctor's opinion, you know, and they're talking about God, and, well, I mean, they're not, you know, because I don't, well, anyway, let me just tell you. So he asked me for step 1, he says, to admit you're powerless over something means that, you know, you're admitting you're going to do it again if you don't take these proper steps. I said, yes, I am. I could admit that. I can't stay away from this stuff for like 24 hours, right? Yeah, I know, I need something. And then he said, unmanageability. Your life has become unmanageable. Guys, yeah, my house looked like a tomb. I didn't care about it. But that's external to me. Everything I just described to you about what a rotten human being I am, how angry I am, how inconsiderate I am, how selfish I am, that's the unmanageability. Who can stand to live up here? Not me, not without something. I know unmanageable. I had 20-some years of it, and I'm nuts. Like nuts. Sober. When we got to step 2, and he asked these questions, he said to me, do you believe that there's something out there that's greater than you that made all of this? And I looked at him and I said, are you asking me if I believe in God? Because that's a really long way to say God. He said, well, yeah. I had no idea that there was prejudice like there is. I had no prejudice against God. Maybe that's, very thankful. I didn't. I didn't know it was about God. So that was an eye-opener, even though the steps say it, but I'm not too bright. Anyway, he said, do you believe that this God has enough power to save your bleep from this illness? Here's how powerful God is. In that moment, within 2.5 hours from coming out of rehab after that failed suicide attempt, and God connected 2 points in time in my head, and I heard, Katie, what happened to me? Where are my legs? Was I in a car accident? Of course, my sponsor had no idea that was going through my head, but I looked at him and I said, yes, God has enough power. Yes. In my head, I'm saying, you're an idiot, man. I walked away from God. I completely turned my back on God. And so, at that moment, at step 2, and I didn't know it, because I didn't know the book, okay? Don't think that God is not powerful, because he is, because at step 2, he gave me my step 10 promises. I didn't even know there were any. So again, I'm looking backwards. From that moment on, the obsession to drink was removed from me, and it has not come back. That's a miracle. The thing that I couldn't stay away from for 24 hours that I just had to get, that I would kill my family to get, it's gone. Not a Band-Aid on it, gone. But I don't know it's gone, because God never makes announcements to me like that, Okay, took away the obsession, Karen. How you feeling? No, it was 2 weeks later, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I haven't thought about drinking. And then I scared myself because I thought about drinking. Yeah, because we're weird. Anyway, so we got to step 3, and man, I'm going to tell you something. This decision, please, when you make this decision, make it like it's the most important thing that you have ever done in your entire life, because it is. Make a decision to commit your life to God. Don't be afraid of it. If there's anything that we need to be afraid of, it's ourselves. And I make an offer of myself to God. I'm telling him, you take me, God, and you do whatever you want with me, okay? My hands are off. On page 13, I oftentimes will go to this with people who I'm taking through the work, because I think it's just so beautiful. When Bill has gone through the 12 steps, and or 6 tenets at that time, but when he was laying in that bed and he's going through it, he says, there I humbly, that's a necessary component, guys. Humility. There I humbly offered myself to God, as I then understood him. You see, God does not make too hard of terms for those who want to reach him. So if you want to start out easy, fantastic. Can you get down with God as love? Can you get down with God as a creative intelligence? Can you get down with God as a spirit of the universe? You see, we're making a beginning, guys. A beginning. This is very important, so listen. I placed myself unreservedly under his care and direction. Do you know what that means? No reservations, guys. When you make this decision, I'm telling you straight up, whatever God does, he does. You don't get a say in it. You may not get what you want, but I guarantee you'll get what you need. And I guarantee that you're going to be fulfilled. And I guarantee that you're going to have an abundance, exactly the thing that God knows you want, because you see, he's your creator. He knows you better than you know you. Why wouldn't you turn your life over to him? For real. Every bit of it. I admitted for the first time that of myself I was nothing. Have you done that? I'm nothing. I could tell you when I stood up here before the meeting started, here's my prayer. Please, God, kill Karen. I don't want to be here, guys, for you. I just described the person I was. Not good. I want God to be able to flow through me and not me to flow through me. that without God, I was lost. You on board? I ruthlessly faced my sins. So I did my third step, and then I got to a fourth step, and I'm going to close up because I talk too much. But I'm going to show you. So here's my fourth step, okay, because I carry it, okay, because you see, anytime that I come in the day and I feel some kind of disturbance or something, I know that it's me. All right, it's something wrong with my spiritual condition. So you see, in our fourth step, what I have to do, because God comes in on the third step, no problem. God's resume is perfect. It's ours that's flawed, okay? So God comes in and he forgives us for everything that we've done. What a deal. But you see, my mind isn't renewed. So I can have this power within me because I asked for it in the third step, right? But my mind isn't renewed. So I have all this old way of thinking, and I block God from doing what God does, which is wonderful things with my life. So I have a few pet defects, so I kind of carry them around because, you see, these are things I don't want because I don't want to get blocked off from God. So if I feel disturbed, I'm a pretty resentful person, okay? So I look resentment. Okay, so I'm feeling disturbed. I pull this out. I go resentment. No. Fear. There it is. Yep. That holds me back from doing worthwhile things. Okay, I need to go into the opposite direction. I need courage. What's courage? Oh, fear that said its prayers. Think you're going to not be afraid, you're going to be afraid. But you're going to pray to the power that has your back. Pure and simple. I got a few others here, as you see. I went through my 12 steps, guys, and it took me about a month. I went back to work and stuff. I wasn't a stay-at-home mom anymore, you know. Anyway. Here's what God did for me a few years ago. I kind of lost track of my sponsor, you know. But a friend of mine from AA, he got me in contact with another guy, and I went to Florida to meet this guy. My husband drove down. I took another guy from AA because I'm nuts, and sometimes I just need, to make sure I'm not nuts on that day. That's one good thing about AA, we're not all nuts on the same day. And anyway, I went down and I got taken through this work again before COVID, so it's years ago. And guys, this guy, tell me God isn't wonderful. I love the history of AA. I love being the purest pure AA I could be. This guy's name is Steve, and he's 86 years old, and his sponsor was Clarence Snyder. And Clarence's sponsor was Dr. Bob. And he took me through the 12 steps as the originals went through them. You want a jaw drop. Amazing. This man has been sober a bazillion years. He's the last living alcoholic through the Dr. Bob lineage. And I now know these people, and it's wonderful. There's BJ Rapp. She was an Al-Anon from a guy who helped write the big book too. I met her, and I hear stories about when they were at meetings with Gracie Snyder and Clarence Snyder. It's absolutely amazing. Beginning of January, because I do retreats with these people, and so at the beginning of January, it's so amazing. We do it on Zoom, and I spend the weekend with people that are from like the United Kingdom, and because it's all over that we do it this very pure way. And I got to listen to a lady's fifth step on my birthday, January 7th, and she was from the UK, and she was 18 years in AA and out of her mind because she couldn't figure out this God thing. After the fifth step, this lady, you could tell, was lightened. And we meet every Tuesday, all these people and from all over the world, and we support each other. God works through Zoom. Crazy. I can't describe to you the miracles that have occurred in my life, watching people recover, people that open their own businesses, get married, buy houses, have babies. Guys, anything you desire in your heart to do, you're capable of doing. If if you do these 12 steps, because your Heavenly Father is going to allow you to do them. Not only allow you, He's going to open doors, He's going to move mountains for you to be able to do them. My encouragement to you is if you have not done these steps, find somebody who knows the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, hasn't had a spiritual awakening. Because you're going to get some signs that you've had a spiritual awakening. Look for them, okay? I just have a few jotted down. Tendency to think and act responsibly. Spiritual awakening. Ability to enjoy each moment. Loss of interest in judging people. Loss of interest in interpreting the actions of others. How about frequent and overwhelming episodes of appreciation? Contented feelings of being connected with others and nature. Frequent attacks of smiling. How about that? And a tendency to be thankful to God for all the above. I love you guys, and thanks for letting me come. Thank you. I take my
I'll close the meeting down. Thank you.
I'm sorry I went over.
No, it's all good. Okay, incredible stuff. Good evening, everyone. My name's Brian, and I'm an alcoholic. First and foremost, I do want to thank Karen for coming out here tonight, delivering an incredible message to our group here. A couple quick announcements, and we'll wrap it up here. As mentioned before the meeting, so the food and the fellowship for this group starts at 8 o'clock. Feel free to show up early and join us. If you want to get involved with this group, we do have service positions available. We also do a lot of work. We have commitments at hospitals and institutions in the area. We do one every Sunday night. If you'd be interested in coming out with us, you can see me, you can see Ron, see any group member after the meeting if you'd like information on that. There's always the meeting after the meeting. If you want to help us out with some service work, you can always use help putting away the chairs there. But most importantly, if you are new or if you're out there and you're struggling, hang out with us after the meeting. There's always a group of us here. We'd love to talk with you, get you some phone numbers, get you some meetings. It's customary for us to thank our speakers as they come here on their own time and expense, so we usually do form a line in the front here, and we thank our speakers personally. I want to thank everyone for helping out with the meeting tonight. Thanks to our greeters, our readers. Thanks to everybody who helped set up. Thanks to Deb and Miss Kay for helping out in the kitchen over there. Most importantly, let's thank our speaker, Karen, who went time. And if you do care to join us, we have a nice way of closing.
And before we do that, guys, I forgot. We're having a women's conference up at Wilkes-Barre, but if you didn't like me, don't come or come late, okay? And it is on March 23rd, and it's
Awesome. Incredible. Yeah, we'll circle up. We'll circle up.
absolutely. You want to hold that mic? You can't
And we'll close the meeting down here, as always, with a brief moment of silence for the still sick and suffering alcoholic inside and outside of these rooms, followed by our Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. You come back and worship the Lord.
see you,